Joining me now for Locked On Gators is Chris Mitchell, who is, a defensive back coach for Jordan Castell, one of the most recent Florida Gator commits. He is the DB's coach for West Orange High School, and that's where Jordan Castell is coming from. And Chris, just before we even get into it, who is Jordan Castell as a player?
As a player, he's a coach's dream. The kid does have genetic gifts that if you ask me, I think all elite athletes, they just have a genetic gift. But man, he's a humble individual. He doesn't brag on himself. Very selfless individual. But man, hard worker. I guess if it's one thing I had to say, he's a hard working kid. He loves and embraces competition. And he's a giant at the position that he plays. He goes about 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds, anywhere from that range, 191 to 200 pounds. And he plays with passion. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. And especially like now, everything that he's doing. Recently his father passed, and he's wearing it on his sleeve, and he's taking things in the right direction, and he's just doing everything with passion, and love for the game. And you can tell, man. Like I said, he's just one of those kids that just wants to work, always looking for extra work, and just trying to better himself, get better at his craft.
And what was his recruitment process like? Because if I'm not mistaken, you've been working with him for 3 or 4 years now. Uh,
I've been working with him personally, like just like recently. Last year was my first year there. So 2 prior years I was at Winter Park High School, where Dakota Mitchell, who's currently on the roster, Ethan Pouncey, Jordan Pouncey, they're both on that roster too as well. I was there, but still I kept in touch with him because I do 7-on-7. I'm a 7-on-7 coach as well. My organization now is 24K. But before that, I was working with Rat Pack, who was Keywan Ratliff's. At the time, Keywan Ratliff's 7-on-7 team. And I just always kind of studied him because the West Orange area is, this Orlando area, you kind of know all the kids who kind of are getting, recruited heavily, and that are actually good players. So I just in the loop with him like those first 2 years. And I actually coached his brother while I was at Winter Park.
and
So
so, I mean, you've been around him long enough. What was his recruitment process like? Just not just with Florida, but with all the schools that were trying to get Jordan to commit to them.
Well, I believe his first offer, and he got it as a freshman, was Florida State at the time. And it just goes because, when you see a kid that big, of his size, and you see him move, and you're just like, how? Because not many kids his size can move the way he does, as fluid and effortless, as he does. And then the kid makes plays. Like I said, I think I was telling another reporter, he 3 years now that he's played high school ball, since he starting at West Orange High School, he has not been scored on, through the air. So, I think that's pretty impressive, given two third round appearances, in the playoffs, a couple different coaching changes and different styles, and defenses. And I think, he's just kind of been a really, really good, solid player. You know, I think Florida got a good one. But his recruiting process, like I said, his recruiting process, though, since I've been there, it really, really bolstered after last year. Um, Last year, like I said, he played on we had a really good team. We had a really good defensive line. I think 9 kids signed to Division I colleges, and he was part of that group. And his recruitment really started to take off when the guys started coming to the games. Because, like I said, we had 9 guys go D1, so we had a bunch of colleges go there. And when they watched him, his size and his ability to move really, really sticks out to a lot of people. And that's it. Just started to take off. Before you know it, he was getting, the Oklahomas of the world. Ohio State came in there. Alabama came in. They offered him. But it was just about Jordan kind of just doing his homework on the coaching staffs and seeing kind of what styles fit him.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned that he was doing homework on coaching staffs and what style fits him because I actually wanted to touch a little bit on a couple of things with the coaching staff and with the defensive scheme that Florida is going to be running. But how important is it for a defensive back to have coaches like Corey Raymond and like Patrick Toney in that secondary kind of coaching up? And Corey Raymond, of course, is arguably the best quarterback coach we've seen ever. He's one of the goats for sure. So how important is it for Jordan to have someone like Corey
Well,
Raymond?
Corey Raymond, if you ask me, and Patrick Toney, they sold him. You know what I mean? They really sold him on the opportunity to develop him to get to the next level. And Corey Raymond, like you just mentioned, I mean, if you ask me, I've been around a lot of coaches, and he has a resume that speaks volume. I think it sticks out like a sore thumb. And any elite kid will tell you, I mean, he's one of the guys that they want to be coached by. You know, like I said, his resume speaks for itself. He's got technique. He's a technician at what he does, and Jordan is a technician. So that aspect really, really aided in him. Really looking at Florida, to be a school of his choice. I mean, he already wears orange and blue for West Orange, so the color scheme already kind of matched, and the fact that he would be able to, stay home and stay in state and play for a big time university, so his family can come, his mom can come see him, his brothers can come see him whenever they want. I mean, I think that dynamic also played in a part, for him. The fact that, Coach Billy Napier is a new coach, he's going to get 3 to 4 years to assemble what he's going to have going on for us, for UF in the future. And the fact that, I mean, he did a pretty good job at Louisiana, where when he was there. And it's just, he's a real guy, he's a realist, man. I think all the words that come off of their mouth, they're all genuine. And I mean, just that atmosphere, that vibe that Billy Napier has surrounded himself with, man. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, Friday Night Lights was amazing. The cookout was great. I mean, when the guys approaching every single family, sitting there sharing a conversation, maybe a story or two. I mean, I think it bodes well with with the people that are there, the families that are there. And I mean, it was all the coaches. You know what I mean? It's everybody there that he's got in that recruiting department. Man, they're just top notch. They're real good people. Um, you got guys like Vernell Brown, who's been in the program forever. He's a Gator great in my eye. You know, him being the player, the player, the director of the player development speaks value. I mean, he was a stand-up guy. He was a captain, during his time at Florida. So it goes a long way. I mean, the people are in the building that are needed there to make sure that this place is going to be safe. And I think Billy is doing a awesome job of really, really just locking the state of Florida down. I believe the majority of the roster is kids from the state of Florida. So I mean, he's doing a good job at recruiting, and I think recruiting has been at the highest level it's been at in a while, probably since Urban Meyer. In my opinion.
Because if you think the Gators are going to win 7 or more games, like a smart person, like myself, not saying I'm a smart person, but I think like them in this case, then bet the over. If you think the Florida Gators will win 6 games or less, again, like a big dumb dummy, I say it all the time, then bet the under. Right now on BetOnline, the Gators win total is set at 6.5. So make yourself some money. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your betting needs and sports information, not just football, not just basketball, not just baseball, not just hockey, not just soccer, not just tennis, which is dead to me, like I've said every time, not just table tennis, not just darts, not just snooker, I think it's called. I think that's what it's called. Not just horse racing, not just League of Legends, not just CSGO, not just politics, not just economics, not just finance. You can bet on everything you want there. It's amazing. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn all about the trends and action. Check out Bet Online. It's where the game starts. Yeah, I mean, of the 16 kids right now that are committed, 14 of them are from the state of Florida for this 2023 recruiting class. Most of the roster is from Florida. Just shifting towards scheme wise, how important is it for Jordan Castell, or I guess any defensive back to really, or any safety specifically, to come to a team where the defensive play caller is your safety coach, and you kind of know that the person calling the plays is going to put you personally in the best position to succeed.
Well, I mean, well, me talking to Coach Toney at Friday Night Lights towards the end of it, when he actually had time to sit down and talk, you know, kind of talked about some of the schemes and whatnot that he runs, and we run a lot of similar stuff over at West Orange. Coach Geno Thompson, that's my head coach, and also the defensive coordinator. I mean, between him and Toney, man, these guys are like, they're masters at what they do as far as explaining and teaching, coverage schemes and whatnot. And we do a lot of the same things. We run a lot of quarters principles, cover four type schemes. We run cover three. And we run quarter half. And all those coverages are all things that, from high school, well, good high school programs to college programs, and then as well to the NFL. I mean, those are like some of the main schemes that are being ran. So by Jordan being at West Orange High School and being taught those schemes already, in itself, all he has to do is go there and learn the terminology, and everything else is just going to be playing football and making plays after that. So I mean, having Patrick Toney there, to teach him the terminology and the things that they do and how they do it there. I mean, I think it's all going to be really easy, and it's going to be a smooth transition for Jordan going to Florida. And I mean, I think that's like the comfort level that he has. I mean, Jordan even tells me that, I mean, he talks to Patrick Toney every day. Him and they talk, he calls him every day. So, I mean, when a kid has that kind of relationship with his position coach, I mean, it just speaks volume. Like I said, I mean, they did a phenomenal job of recruiting him. And, like I said, the scheme is going to fit. The scheme fits him, and it fits what he wants to do, at that position.
Yeah, and I mean, I like, first of all, I like that you specified good high school programs, because I didn't play for a good one when I played high school, so I get that one. But yeah, I think that pretty much every listener right now knows that I'm a massive fan of Patrick Toney and the defensive scheme. So I like that it's going to be a probably relatively seamless transition to just kind of, just like you said, just learn the new terminology and kind of be in that system
Right.
already. Um, Real quick before we wrap up, just can you let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter, Instagram, whatever handles you want to use, and anything that you want to shout out?
On Twitter, you can find me at C Mitchell 2284. Instagram, you can find me at C Mitchell 2284.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Same
you.
thing, same thing. Yeah, man.
Thank you so much, Coach, for coming through. And believe me, we'll be in touch.
Man, no doubt, man. Anything for Gator Nation. I mean, I'm a Gator fan myself. I just grew up, lifelong Gator fan. I mean, granted, my education came from UCF, but no biggie. I mean, I'm still here. I'm rocking the orange and blue all day still. And it's fitting. It's easy for me, because I do coach at a school that is orange and blue, so it's great. I mean, it's easy. And then now that I got another player from the high school ranks to go to University of Florida, it just makes it easier for me to get to these games now and be a part of something that's going to be really, really special here in the future. I think the product that Coach Napier is going to put on the field is going to be what we expect. I mean, it's going to get back to um, the Urban Meyer days, the Steve Spurrier days. It's going to get back to that time where recruiting was at a high level, the plays at a high level. This is the SEC, so you gotta put good product on the field. Unless you won't last long at Florida. So I think he's going to do an amazing job. And the messages that he's sending right now it's unparalleled. I mean, just a quick private conversation that we had before I left the cookout the other day. I mean, he's got a plan, and that's the thing. He's got a plan, and so far everything is coming to fruition. So, I think that as long as he just keeps on, keeps doing what he's preaching, man, Florida's in good hands.
Yeah, that's kind of the feel that we have too, because it's like we know that every move that this coaching staff makes is very deliberate, and they're doing everything that they've said they would do. Like everything that they said they wanted to implement, they've implemented to this point. So hopes are high for the University of Florida.
Correct. No, it should be, man. I think they're gonna put a good product that the people can actually be, they can appreciate it. I mean, you bring a guy like Mike Peterson back home. He's a Gator great. Stud linebacker. He's won a national championship, so he knows what that feeling is. He knows what it takes to get there. And just like I said, having the guys in the building and bringing the old former players around, all of that stuff, man. To feel like I said, the atmosphere is just different. I've been coming around Florida like the last 13 years, just being there, being in the building, around Keywan Ratliff, him kind of showing me, the inside of the inner workings of what actually goes on in there. I mean, it's just so different right now. Right now, it's just crazy, and it's a real positive vibe. It's good atmosphere. It's real good energy, and I think that just give them a year or two, and people will see. You'll see it on the field.
Yeah, I was gonna say week one we'll see it. Thank you for joining the show, Chris, and we'll have you back circling around.
All right, man. Cool, man. I appreciate you having me. Thank you. Go Gators.